Greetings and welcome, my beautiful black diamonds of the earth, all the black people of the world. Welcome to another edition of Black Talk Radio, where black media matters and black life certainly matters. Today is Sunday, September 23rd, 2018. Well, family, in case you missed this story, Black Talk Radio, where black media matters, brings you the story out of Liberia, where shipping containers carrying $104 million in banknotes have gone missing in Liberia. It was brazen, even by Liberian standards, shipping containers carrying the equivalent of $104 million in Liberian banknotes ordered by the central bank from printers in Sweden and China arrived at Liberia's port and then mysteriously vanished. The news broke in local paper, Front Page Africa, on Monday. Since then, members of President George Weah's government have been trying to cast blame on the previous administration of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The former president, who handed the reins to Weah in January, gave a fiery rebuke to the allegations. Quote, "It is most unfortunate that the GOL would give false information that wickedly impugns the reputation of past officials and by extension the country itself," unquote, Sirleaf said in a phone call. The notes, which are the equivalent of 5% of Liberia's gross domestic product, were ordered by Sirleaf's administration in 2016. Lynn Eugene Nagby, the government's spokesman, and Frank Musse-Dean, Attorney General, told reporters the containers had arrived in November while the Sirleaf administration was still in office. But leaked shipping documents from the port show the containers were cleared in February and March of this year, after the new administration had taken over. The government has launched an investigation. 15 officials, including Charles Sirleaf, the former central bank government and son of the former president, have been barred from leaving the country. Alexander Cummings, the former chief administrative officer of Coca-Cola Company, who heads the opposition Alternate National Congress, demanded an independent investigation and warned the flood of new notes into the market would exacerbate the economic downturn. Quote, "You've excess money going after goods and services. Inflation is going to increase. The price of everything is going to go up." Liberians are reeling from this latest scandal. The Liberian dollar has fallen 20% against the US dollar since Weah took office, and inflation is already spiking, making life difficult for ordinary Liberians. Confidence of international resources investors, a priority of the Sirleaf administration, has been shaken by one scandal after another. For example, when it was revealed that Finance Minister Samuel Tway paid 15 or 16,000 rather to upgrade his business class seat to first class for flight to the Forum on China-African Cooperation in Beijing. Okay, family, I'm sorry. You have to excuse me for the way this is coming out, because actually, you know how it is. These editors of these news outlets, they can't even get their grammar together. They can't even write an article properly. Well, especially when it's dealing with African people, so they just don't give a damn. But anyways, let me do the best I can. Let me continue here. The country failed to meet its extractive Investment Transparency Initiative deadline this month, resulting in the country's suspension from the group. Then, Toy revealed a $2.5 billion deal with China for access to, quote, some of Liberia's resources, leading opponents to question whether the government had the technical knowledge to value the resources in question. Family, I'm going to leave my comments shortly, but I'm going to continue with the rest of this article here. In July, representatives from the World Bank, EU, US, and the European countries took the unprecedented step of sending a joint letter urging Way not to complete a deal with Turkish power company Car Power that they said would risk crippling the power grid that the stakeholders had invested hundreds of millions of dollars in rebuilding. In June, the legislature approved 2 loan deals totaling $957 million, one from a Burkina Faso-based EBOMAFSA company, a second from a private Singapore-based firm, Eton Finance, more than doubling the country's debt. World Bank and IMF officials have warned the government they are risking relationships with international financial institutions. It's been a tough start for President Way, the former FIFA Player of the Year. It is seriously straining the support of his many fans who had high expectations for his government. It has international observers worried once again about this fragile country. So family, you heard exactly what I heard. One faction is pointing the fingers at the other. Let me just state for the record, I am an outsider looking in, so I really don't have much of a stake here. But as an outsider, let me just say this. African people are tired. We are sick and tired of these African leaders mimicking and acting just like the Europeans. I'll repeat this. We are freaking tired of these black-skinned individuals acting like the Europeans. They're acting like they are enemies of their own race. They are acting like they don't care about the remaining of their own race. I find this very problematic. Very, very problematic. I find it problematic that in African people's history, we had civilizations and kingdoms that lasted thousands of years, and we can't, right now, we can't today figure out how to maintain and control our governments without corruption. Again, we have too many black people dressed up as black people with white and European value systems. They have no African interest in their heart whatsoever. They say they do, but they really don't. And the ones that do, that say that they want to do Africa for the Africans, Africa for the Africans, Africa for the Africans, we don't support them, i.e. Patrice Lumumba. We allow governments to go in and assassinate, and we don't protect our brothers who want Africa for the Africans. We don't protect these people. No, we are cowards. We are cowards. We do not protect those who want Africa for the Africans. Africa has the richest resources on the planet, and yet we give it to other people. You heard exactly what I heard, family. All those people that have their hands in Africa's land and resources. You heard it. Singapore, two other companies as well. China for sure. Africa is looking to be colonized all over again. We have not learned any lessons whatsoever. And this is what I'm talking about. We're so busy fighting and arguing amongst each other that we can't even get our organization together and organize and get it together. We can't even do that. So I find this very, very fishy that the government that ordered the banknotes, they knew the banknotes were to arrive. They knew that they were on their docks, and they didn't even tell the interim government that came in, they didn't even tell them of the money. Yeah, it sounds like that past government, Sirleaf, sure, they gave a rebuke, a fury rebuke, like the article says. Sure, you can do that, but the finger is rightly pointed in your direction. It's rightly pointed in your direction because you knew that money was there and you didn't tell anyone else. And if they didn't go through those crates until February or March, that was your fault because you didn't communicate to them what was there. You went in there and stole it. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you stole all that money. That's what it sounds like. Something smells really fishy here. Really, really fishy. And the onus goes on the responsible party. It's not that hard to figure out who that responsibility goes to. But I know that if I was the government that was in place right now, I would be highly pissed off if the previous government ordered some banknotes, $104 million of banknotes, and didn't communicate that to me and our administration, our new administration. Because after all, this is for our whole country of Liberia, and you failed to do that. What a travesty. Black people, we got to do better. This is Guru at Black Talk Radio, where black media matters. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.